Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
There is a place beyond the laws of science, beyond the possibilities of reality. A place that draws from the deepest pits of one man's subconscious, revealing his innermost imaginations. This place is called the Dream Zone. June 6th, 1944. The Day of Days. After hours of fighting and thousands of casualties, Allied forces led by Lieutenant Paul Richards have finally captured Omaha Beach. The beach is unrecognizable, colored crimson red and littered with bodies. Craters the size of cars have turned the beach into a human waste pit. And yet, standing amongst the hills overlooking the beach, Paul and his men feel victorious. Their celebrations are quiet, a quiet brought upon by the horrors of war. Internally, though, this group of men feel full of pride. They have just taken a massive step towards liberating France. Paul sits for a moment, gazing down at the carnage. He lets out a sigh of relief and closes his eyes. When he opens them, he notices something in the distance. He realizes it is a column of landing boats. Friendly reinforcements, perhaps? Paul pulls out a pair of binoculars and zooms in on the boats. German helmets, German weapons. They are back for revenge. As the landing boats move closer to the beach, Paul runs around, alerting his men. He directs the group towards an empty bunker, which still has 2 German MG-42s, fully loaded. Paul points at the boats, which grew closer by the second.
As soon as those doors open, start firing, and don't stop until every last German is dead.
The rest of the men form groups amongst the hill. They point their rifles, machine guns, and every other type of weapon they have at the beach. The doors of the landing boats drop open. Waves on waves of German troops charge through the water. The Germans storm onto the beach, getting ever closer to Paul and his men. The first wave takes cover behind metal hedgehogs, while just a few hundred yards away, the second wave of German reinforcements prepare to land. The Allies are temporarily able to keep the Germans at bay, but at any moment, it seems they will break through. A few of the Allied riflemen lie dead, puddles of blood marking the hill. Pools of sweat drip down Paul's face as he sprints from unit to unit.
Keep firing!
A machine gunner drops dead next to Paul, a hole through his forehead. Paul takes hold of the machine gun, spraying shots in every direction. A voice calls out from a distance.
Sir, there's too many of them!
Hundreds of Germans are at the base of the hill, starting to climb. The second wave of landing boats are about to drop their doors. Dead Allies outnumber the alive ones. Paul and his men's doom is inevitable. Paul drops the machine gun and dashes towards his riflemen to support them. As he runs, he jumps over a dead comrade. But instead of landing on his feet, he hovers into the air. The riflemen stare in awe as Paul floats through the air. Even the Germans below stop their charge to admire. Man is flying. Paul uses his arms to propel himself forward, as if he was swimming. He notices a loose grenade on the hill, and a plan formulates in his head.
Give me all your grenades!
The riflemen tuck grenades into Paul's uniform, pockets, anywhere that could fit them. Paul grasps 2 grenades in his hands and flies above the Germans. Like a B-17 bomber, he unleashes the payload. After blowing up the Germans around the hill, Paul restocks on grenades. He flies overhead the German landing boats and drops the grenades, obliterating them in a furious ball of fire. Cheered on by the destruction of the German boats, Paul's men open fire, mowing down most of the remaining Germans. The surviving Germans thrust their arms up in surrender, signaling an Allied victory. Paul floats back to the ground, landing amongst his men. They all look at each other with wry smiles, once again too tired to celebrate. One step closer to the end of the war. The day man flew will go down in dream history as one to never be forgotten. A day still talked about by dream scientists. Then again, Nothing is ever forgotten in the Dream Zone.